This is the story of the little boy who cried fire. One day, this little boy found he had nothing to do, so he decided to play some tricks on the local fireman. He was going to turn in an alarm and pretend there was a fire in his house just for the fun of it. So he ran down into the street, waved his arms in the air and yelled, "Fire, fire, 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 fire everywhere. There's a fire in the closet, there's a fire in the bed, there's a fire sitting under my chair. There's a fire in the sink, it's so hot I'm turning pink, oh doesn't anyone care?" Then he reached up with his arm, and he pulled down the alarm, and he knew the engines would soon be there.
"Where's the fire?" cried the fireman.
Fire, 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 fire everywhere. There's a fire in the closet, there's a fire in the bed, there's a fire sitting under my chair. There's a fire in the sink, it's so hot I'm turning pink, oh doesn't anyone care? We brought our hook and ladder to see what was the matter, but there simply wasn't any fire there. The little boy stood and watched while the fire engines returned to their station. The next day, he decided that the fire engines with their bells and sirens were so exciting that he wanted to see them again. So he took his little teddy bear and ran down in the street and waved his arms, pretending the teddy bear was on fire. "Oh, fireman, please save my teddy bear. There's a fire on his shirt, there's a fire around his neck, there's a fire creeping up to his hair. Now the fire's on his feet, I can even feel the heat, oh, you haven't got a minute to spare. There's a fire on his nose, and it's dripping on his toes, now it's reaching for his eye and ear." While the alarm bell loudly rang, he waited and he sang, "All the engines will soon be here."
"Where's the fire?" cried the fireman.
There's a fire on his shirt, there's a fire around his neck, there's a fire creeping up to his hair. Now the fire's on his feet, I can even feel the heat, oh you haven't got a minute to spare. There's a fire on his nose and it's dripping on his toes, now it's reaching for his eye and ear. This is the second day you've chosen tricks to play, but there simply isn't any fire here. The little boy watched while the firemen went back on their trucks. The next day, the little boy decided to call them on the telephone and pretend that the fire had trapped him inside his home. So he picked up the telephone and asked the operator for the firehouse. And when they answered, he said, "There's a fire on the rug, there's a fire on the door, there's a fire crawling up the wall. Now it's almost on the ceiling, all the paint is hot and peeling, and sparks are starting to fall. There's a fire on the lamp, on the trunk I have for camp, on my glove and bat and ball. Now the fire's on the shelf, I think I'm catching on myself. This is an emergency call."
"Where's the fire?" cried the fireman.
There's a fire on the rug, there's a fire on the door, there's a fire crawling up the wall. Now it's almost on the ceiling, all the paint is hot and peeling, and sparks are starting to fall. There's a fire on the lamp, on the trunk I have for camp, on my glove and bat and ball. This is the third time and the last we'll come running here so fast when there isn't any fire at all. Once again the firemen went back to the fire station. Not very long after this, the little boy was playing on the street corner when he looked up and saw, yes, his own house really was on fire. He ran down to the corner and pulled the alarm and waited, but nobody came. It's happening, this time it's really true. My house is burning to the ground in flames of orange and blue. The alarm was still ringing, but there was no sign of the engines, and very soon there was nothing left of his house but black rubble and smoke. The little boy was very sorry that he had called the fire engines all those other times when he hadn't needed them at all. I'll never tell another lie, for lies can sometimes stick. And when you tell the truth, they think it's just another trick. And that is the story of the little boy who cried fire.